What if every choice you make today was already written in the stars? Imagine standing at a crossroads at dawn, the mist curling around your ankles. Each road promising escape, yet invisible threads pull you forward. Yet science tells us our brains fire neurons before we even feel the urge to move. History shows tyrants stripping rights with a single decree. And pop culture loves the rebel who breaks chains only to discover new prisons inside. One recent study found that 95% of our daily actions are driven by habit, not deliberate choice. Do we own our actions or do our actions own us? If habit rules most of our lives, what room is left for freedom? It's the tension between habit and reflection, biology and self-awareness. Like a river carving new channels, we shape our own constraints by consciously choosing even our smallest actions. True freedom emerges not when choices abound, but when we steer the current. Are you really choosing or merely following a script? For him, freedom meant inner mastery, ruling your desires rather than being ruled by them. In Plato's allegory of the cave, prisoners mistake shadows for reality. True freedom comes only when you turn, see the fire, and step into daylight. Freedom. We celebrate it on flags and in music. We teach it as the highest human ideal. Be free, and you shall know, wrote the Stoic Epictetus. But neuroscience challenges this. Experiments show brain activity predicting choices up to a second before conscious awareness. Meet Maya, a teacher in London who dreams of quitting her job to travel the world. Every morning she wakes inspired, then falls back into routine mails, lesson plans, nightly exhaustion. She journals, "I feel trapped by my own habits." A philosopher might say, freedom isn't the absence of constraints, but the power to redefine them. A neuroscientist would argue, neuroplasticity means we can rewire habits, so even automatic actions can become choices. Maya begins small. She takes a different route to work, writes poetry at noon, declines a social media scroll. Each tiny act feels like a rebellion, but is it freedom or just new patterns? Today's AI researchers even map decision pathways in the prefrontal cortex. If our neurons decide before we do, is freedom an illusion? Yet some argue that conscious reflection itself shapes those pathways, so awareness might still grant us real agency. So here's the puzzle. If freedom depends on conscious control, but consciousness follows unconscious urges, where does choice begin? Weaving these threads reveals that freedom isn't a magic switch, it's a process. So next time you reach for your phone without thinking, pause. Ask yourself, am I guided by habit or by intention?